Okay, so when we're writing the product as a sum, we're going to find which formula it matches. So with this one, we found that it was the same as sine of u, sine of v. So we're going to plug in the u and the v. In this case, our u is 2x, our v is 4x. So when we subtract them, 2x minus 4x, we're going to get negative 2x. And then the next one we're going to add. So when we add 2x plus 4x, we're going to get 6x. And then the part we have to remember is to simplify using our even and odd identities. So cosine is going to be even. Whenever you have cosine of a negative, it's going to be the same thing as cosine of the positive value. So cosine of negative 2x is the same thing as cosine of 2x. And then this one we're going to keep the same. So cosine of 6x. Now you can choose if you want to distribute the 1/2, that would be fine. Or if you want to leave the 1/2 on the outside, I'm fine with that as well. So either one of those is correct. Okay, so again we are going to look at our sheet and then figure out what one it matches. So with this one, now we're going to look at our sum to product formulas. Okay, so Madison, which one of these equations looks similar to our problem here? We have the sine of 11x plus the sine of 5x, and that looks like 1, 2, 3, or 4 on our sheet. Okay, it looks like number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation to rewrite this, and my x value is 11x, my y value is 5x, so my first step is just going to be to plug those in. Okay, and then I'm going to simplify. So I can combine like terms, and then I can simplify those terms. So my final answer should be 2 sine of 8x times the cosine of 3x. Okay, then the last part of this, to find the exact value, we are given the cosine of 255 degrees minus the cosine of 195. This is going to be a sum to product formula because you can see that you have the subtraction here. Okay, so then I'm going to look at my formulas. I'm looking for a cosine minus a cosine. Okay, so Allie, what formula is that going to be? Which number? Yeah, the last one, right? Okay, so I have cosine of x minus cosine of y, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug in my x and y. Okay, and then remember you're going to be doing this without a calculator. So let's think of some quick ways we can do this. Instead of doing 255 plus 195, do you guys know an easier way you can do it? Instead of adding 195, you could add what? Yeah, add 200, because then you get 455, and then you would just subtract 5, so it would be 450. If we're going to cut 450 in half, what's half of 400? 200. What's half of 50? 25, so it would be 225. When we're subtracting, you can do the same thing. So if you subtracted 200, you would get 55, but then you'd have to add the 5 back, so it would be 60. And what's half of 60? 30. Okay, so that's how we can simplify. So you are going to have your unit circle, and you can use your unit circle to find what these values are. Do you guys know what the sine of 30 is right away? Yeah, sine of 30 is 1/2. 225, you might not know it right away, but do you know what the reference angle is for 225? What's the reference angle? Yeah, and it would be 45, right? Okay, so if it's 45 degrees, this either has to be root 2 over 2 or negative root 2 over 2. 225 is in what quadrant? Third, so then it has to be negative. Okay? And like I said, you're going to have your unit circle, but I drew this here for you to show you how you could reason without it. So you have root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2, which is 45 degrees. 225 is in quadrant 3, so this will have to be negative root 2 over 2. Okay, so the sine at 225 is negative root 2 over 2. The sine at 30 is 1/2. And then I'm just going to multiply straight across. Okay, so if you want, you can actually reduce first if you want. I just multiplied straight across. So a negative times a negative is going to be a positive on the top. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. 2 divided by 4 is 1 over 2, which is going to reduce to the square root of 2 over 2.